What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The NFL Draft is coming up next Thursday. In spite of the fact that it's going to be a virtual NFL Draft where there will be no crowd in attendance and I guess no players in attendance, we are still getting the NFL Draft from next Thursday through next Saturday. So we've got less than a week now at the time of this recording until the Steelers draft. And I just wanted to cover, since I've been doing a lot of Steeler free agency stuff and previewing the next season and all that, I wanted to do a quick draft, kind of a retrospective or an idea, I should say, about where I think, position-wise and possibly even some players, the Steelers should look at drafting. They've done a good job in patching up a lot of their holes. Most of their holes this season were found on offense. We brought some guys in last offseason and during the season for trades to fortify the defense and make the defense one of the best units in the NFL. But the offense, without Ben Roethlisberger, was very, very inept this season and caused us to miss the playoffs in spite of having an elite defense. The best defense in a decade, since 2010. So a lot of this is going to be geared toward fixing the offense. But again, with Ben back, that is another big way to raise the entire productivity of each level of the offense. So the Steelers don't have a ton of holes, and the ones they do have, they have addressed somewhat in free agency already. They had a big glaring need at tight end, and they filled that. They needed some offensive line guys. They added a couple of those, one from the XFL and one from free agency from the Chiefs. They needed defensive line help, and they brought in an XFL guy for that as well, and they traded for a guy as well from the Ravens. So the Steelers are actively addressing and filling the holes they have, and they don't, again, as long as Ben's healthy, there are not many holes in general. But as much as the pressing need is gone, there are still needs. There are still phenoms you want to bring in to add to this team and give Ben one more chance on his maybe 2 years left in his closing window. So the Steelers have 6 total picks and 4 picks that I think could be considered impact picks. They have a second-round pick, a third-round pick, which was a comp pick, and they have 2 fourth-round picks. And those are the 4 picks, I think, where you could expect guys to come in and either start in their rookie season or at least play in the rotation right away and be long-term successes for the team. Now, that doesn't always work out. We've seen many of those guys come and go. But I think in the first 4 rounds, you get quality players that you could expect to start or at least play in the first season or 2. Then they also have a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. So 6 picks overall, 4 picks in what I would call the first 4 rounds being the impact rounds. So let's kind of look at their picks and see who I think would be good fits for the Steelers, or at the very least what position I think are the biggest needs for each round for the Steelers. First up, there's no first-round pick for the Steelers. I am one of those guys that is considering Minkah Fitzpatrick our first-round pick. We got him from the Dolphins for our first-round pick this year, and he was more than worthy of that pick. So I am totally content with Fitzpatrick being our first-round pick. He's already a proven guy who's already made an impact in his first season in Pittsburgh. First pick overall for the Steelers this year is number 49 overall. It's the second-round pick. And here's where I look at one of 2 spots, either running back or quarterback. Running back is a glaring need for us. We have 4 running backs currently on the roster who all do something very well. And if all 4 of their attributes could be combined into one running back, we would have our franchise guy, but alas, we do not. James Conner is the best overall running back. He was a franchise guy for the year that Le'Veon Bell stepped out, but he took a big step back last year, and he has not proven that he can be a feature back or be a healthy back because he has not played all 16 games in any season yet so far. And after this season, this is his contract year, so he might be going after this year. Benny Snell was a rookie last year, played really well in short spurts, but I don't think he's an every down back. He is a short yardage, power, goal line, third down back kind of a guy. Jalen Samuels is a good wildcat back and the best pass catcher of the entire bunch, but he's not an every down back. He took a big step back last year as far as running goes, and Kareth White came in off the Bears practice squad, and he's a good scat back, change of pace kind of guy, fast, good feet in the hole kind of a guy, but he's not an every down back. So we have 4 backs on the roster who are all talented and all solid and have all had their moments of showing themselves being decent, but none of those guys are the franchise back right now. So Connor's got the most questions to answer, and Snell's got the most upside overall. But I think running back is a big need for us. So I'm looking at a guy like Swift from Georgia. I think Swift has a nice combination of evasion, power, and speed. I'm looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I think is the most underrated back in this draft from LSU. I like him a lot. The Wisconsin back has been looked at as a Steeler fit. I don't think he's the best back in this draft, but I think he's a Steeler fit kind of a guy. So one of those three guys, particularly Edwards-Helaire, I think is the best of the bunch. But I think if you want to go with Swift or with the running back from Wisconsin, I think you have possibilities there at running back. Quarterback wise, again, we have four guys currently on the roster. We have Big Ben, who is 38 years old, has maybe 2 years left max. Hasn't played in a whole season. Is coming back from a major injury. His body's banged up. Like I said, worst case scenario, he comes back injured this year, or he comes back not being himself. Best case scenario, he plays well for the next 2 years, and then his contract is up. So either we're going to have to fill that spot as the incumbent to Big Ben, whether it's for this year or for 2 years from now. Mason Rudolph played over half the season last year and did not look very good doing it. Duck Hodges was a fourth string cut quarterback we brought back in. He played well in 1 or 2 games and then was horrible after that. He's not our future guy. Paxton Lynch was on the roster, never got to play, didn't play well in Denver, has shown no signs of being majorly improved. So I don't think we have the backup to Ben on the roster. So if Ben gets hurt or when Ben retires, we need that guy on the roster. So if we're looking at quarterback, as of right now, I have pick 49, round 2, go to running back, and then pick 3, round 3, pick 102, go to quarterback. But if we have to flip that, that's fine with me. So I think we go round 2, one of those 3 running backs, and round 3 go to quarterback. But if a Jalen Hurts or a Jake Fromm is sitting there at round 2, I wouldn't mind flipping that. There's not a whole lot of quarterbacks in this draft that I trust. I don't fully trust Fromm's decision making. I don't like Jacob Eason's decision making. I don't like his eyes on the field. Jalen Hurts, I think, is more of just a running quarterback, kind of a Lamar Jackson, who's not a great passer. I think he's less of a passer than Lamar Jackson was. But they're project guys. They're athletes. They're guys with potential. So if you can get an Eason or a Fromm, or especially a Jalen Hurts, he's the number 1 quarterback I look at for us here. Again, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I think he might be a good system fit. He might be a good athlete that Ben can teach the passing aspects to. He's got that Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick kind of thing to his legs already. And he's got some basics down, so I think he could be the best fit for us. So again, if he's there in round 2, I take him first, and then I go running back in round 3. But as of right now on this list, I have running back round 2, quarterback round 3. Round 4, pick 124, I'm going offensive line. I think we've covered enough of those needs to be okay for this year, but depth-wise and injury-wise, we still need some pieces. We have Filer and Banner sitting there for us. We brought in Wisniewski and I think somebody else from the XFL, so there are bodies there. I think Wisniewski is going to start this year. I think Banner is going to start this year. I think Filer goes in relief or vice versa. So we have enough bodies, but we did lose 2 offensive linemen this year and need somebody else to step in. And at the very least, you want to get a guy who can play swing, kind of like Wisniewski does. Can play center or interior offensive line. So I think the interior of the offensive line is going to need a pick here in round 4. 11 picks later, we have another round 4 pick at 135, and that's where I go safety. I don't think a major safety is going to be available right here. We obviously have our 2 starters that we trust. We have Minka, who's a franchise guy, and we have Edmonds, who's a project, who has gotten better, but he's had his many ups and downs here in Pittsburgh. He is one of our weakest links on defense, but that's not to say he's bad. He has potential, but he hasn't fulfilled it yet. But I think another safety is going to play well for us. We had to cut the guy we had last year playing at backup safety, and we did lose Sean Davis to the Redskins. So all we have right now is Marcus Allen, who's very unproven, even in preseason, and Jordan Dangerfield, who's more of a special teams guy, who does not do much as far as coverage. We do play 3 safeties sometimes, and I think we need somebody else who can play that 3rd spot for us and fill in once in a while, on top of playing in case there's an injury. So I think safety here in round 4 is our next pick. So I think, again, if we get a running back to play this year and kind of fill in spots and see what he has, a quarterback to fill in for Ben if there's an injury, or B, the incumbent is the backup. Offensive line, interior, and then a safety. Those 4 guys that can come in and play if there's an injury or play in the next season or 2, I think are really important to us. Round 5, pick 198. I'm going to go defensive line. Again, we have Tuitt and Hayward as long as they're healthy. We have Isaiah Buggs who can play inside for Hargrave. We have Tyson Alualu, who's a veteran who we trust to fill in any of those spots. We traded for Chris Wormley. We picked up the guy from the XFL who led in sacks, Kayvon Walker. I like those 5 guys on this line. McCullers is still a veteran, so we have 5 or 6 guys who can fill in and play this year. But I think another depth pick for us could be pretty good in case Alualu has to play on the outside and like a Kayvon Walker or a Buggs or a Hooks maybe doesn't really fill in for us that well, or if there's like an injury. I think a pick here in round 5, interior defensive line, could be solid. And then round 6, pick 232. Let's take a wide receiver. I'm cool with the 4 guys we have right now that I trust on this roster. I don't think Switzer makes it. Obviously, we have our main 3 guys we're going to use. That is Juju, James Washington, and Deontay Johnson. And then we have Deon Cain, who came on pretty strong last year as a 4th deep threat. He can play in the slot and do kind of what Johnny Holton could not do for us. I think he's going to be a good number 4. So I think we have 4 solid guys there. But again, if there's an injury or whatever, you always want to have another wide receiver who you can trust. I think we only have 4 good ones on this roster right now. So I think drafting a speedster in the 6th round who can play in preseason, who can be a special teams guy, can possibly do kick and punt returns as well to make up for what Switzer is not very good at. I think he would be a solid addition in round 6. So there you have it, guys. I'm taking running back, quarterback, offensive line, safety, defensive line, and wide receiver. I don't think tight end is a need for us anymore. With bringing back Vance and signing Ebron, I think we're good there for a while with Gentry as a 3rd. Fullback, obviously, we got Derek Watt now. We're good there. I think we're solid at wide receiver. I think we're really solid at linebacker. People have been saying to add some edge rushers. I like our backup edge rushers. I like both outside and inside. I like Ulysses Gilbert a lot. He's going to play, I think, this year a little bit. I like Ola Adeni. I like Tuzar Skipper. Those 3 guys are going to fill in nicely for like Bush, Watt, Dupree, Williams, guys like that. So I think we have enough depth there. I don't think we need an edge rusher here at this pick. As far as cornerbacks, I think we're solid. We brought back Mike Hilton. We already still have Sutton and Hayden and Nelson. So I think we're good there. So I think these 6 picks, and especially the first 4 that can possibly play pretty soon, could be good to round us out for our roster and make us pretty elite. Of course, the offense hinges on Ben being healthy, but I'm trying to sublet that by bringing somebody else in. So what do you guys think of these 6 picks? What do you guys think of a few of the names that I mentioned in the earlier rounds? Tell me in the comments below, and how would you guys draft? Take these 6 picks and give me your draft picks in the comments below. Until next time, Steeler fans, I will see you soon, and I will come back probably after maybe each day of the draft. Maybe I'll come back like either Friday or Saturday, and I'll give you guys a recap of the picks we did make and what I think of those picks. So stay tuned next week for a Steeler draft recap as well. I'll see you soon, friends. Stay safe.